Let's tell them I left this morning. We got up, my wife and I this morning left at 3:30 from Orlando. We got up at 3:30 and left at 4 o'clock.
Oh my goodness, okay.
To drive back from Disney.
75.
That's the way to
Yeah.
beat traffic anyway.
Yes, it's a beat trap. No, it really, instead of 3 hours, it took 2.5 hours. And we even had to go off of 75 because it was closed. Where Punta Gorda, there was a wreck that closed all the southbound lanes.
Kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we were listening to one of the newscasts on the radio. And they said the thing, but the thing on the maps did not say the road was closed. The map, they didn't, just the person who didn't know, it was all green, even though the highway was closed.
So you're able to get off.
We never got on 75. We went down to 41 and come up 41 and then back around. One more minute. At least on my top. How you doing, Mike?
Good.
I didn't know. Yeah, I should know you were a zoo. Watch yourself.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
a zoo fan.
This way. Yeah, that's my kid.
I've got 10.
Yep. Okay. We're going to call the meeting to order. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Stand up. We have we got music to go with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Sound like static to me.
Oh, that's Bob.
Bob.
Oh.
Okay.
All right, we're good to go.
Okay. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we do a board member roll call.
Stop. Pete Audette.
Yeah.
Jim Latham. Mike Crosby. Lynn Applegren.
And Lou will be in. He's in the president's meeting right now. Lou Lemare will be in here shortly. But we have a quorum without him. So we'll begin the meeting. After roll call is, to you with your, are you going to present
yes.
for them? Okay.
Carol Pancock. My husband John plays golf with Mary's husband Pete. And that's how they came to me. I'd like to introduce to you Mary Bullis and Pam Hastings. They want to talk to you about a reservoir, or not a reservoir, a bridge over the road. It's basically between 10512 Pistoria and 10520 Pistoria. So there's a area there. So I'm going to have Pam start first.
Hi, my name is Pam Hastings.
Go ahead and stand up.
And I currently reside in the neighborhood of Casella with my husband Chuck. We've been residents of Pelican Reserve for 18 years. We first purchased a condo at Sienna in 2006. After visiting many developments all the way from Naples, Fort Myers, and Pelican Reserve was a clear choice that we noticed, given the many amenities that were here. And I have particularly noticed the structural design of the common areas, with noticing that much attention was paid to details. So upon retirement, we built at Casella. We overlook Ibis 4, a par 3 on the golf course. So we are looking directly at the waterway with the bridge at the entrance of Prado. Maybe not, maybe all of you are not aware.
I think that's the road.
Yes, the road, the road. No, not that.
Right.
It's the fascia of the bridge.
But this is the bridge right here.
That's the flowway. That's Prado. I'm looking at it. No. Well. yeah, let me finish this.
Okay.
Yeah, look at it.
All right,
So upon retirement, we purchased at Casella overlooking the part 3, which is called IX4, looking directly at this bridge that we're referring to. The fascia of the bridge, to our dismay, has not been maintained. And we have photographs to show you exactly how poor it looks.
Mary, maybe you want to pass these around? So they can look
Where
at
do you
them
want
while
me
you're
to start?
speaking.
Here, let me see it first, because I don't know where it is.
Are we talking about the golf course bridge?
No, this is the roadway over, when you enter the new neighborhood Prado, that,
Right.
and you turn right, there's a waterway, continues east, all the way down to the
And
end.
is, I'm pretty sure, is that, that's a flowway, the water, or is that,
No,
that's a flowway?
Flowway.
So this is a concrete structure on the
Well,
flow.
that's not what it looks like there, just,
Well,
this is what it looks like. That's what it should look like.
What did you Photoshop it?
No, that bridge is at the,
Okay.
right at the entrance of Casella, the one that's been painted. And it
Okay.
used to look like this.
Okay,
And a few years ago, it was painted, and we're kind of requesting that the same maintenance be
Okay.
handled with this.
can I
bridge.
have that one? The one there?
Can I, you want me to pass it around?
Yeah, you can. I don't know. I know it's not part of the ponds group, but I will take this to do. Daniel and I will figure out, I don't know
Who owns it?
who, but I think Gateway owns it. So, well, I'm not sure even about that, right?
Yes.
But we'll find out who is responsible to maintain that, and I will get back to you, okay?
Okay, I just would like to make a comment though that this, when you see this
Yeah.
structure here, you know, keep in mind that every resident of that neighborhood, every guest that
Yeah.
comes to us, and every golfer looks at that every
Yeah.
day in passing.
Yeah.
So, it's just, it's sad to us, to my husband and myself, that this area has been neglected and not maintained to the standard that was apparent in Pelican Reserve when we bought here. So I'm just requesting.
You know, I
So
don't,
you're requesting what, Mary?
I'm Pam, and I request that the fascia of the bridge at Prado, or you say Victoria, be cleaned and painted and maintaining the standard that we recognize when we purchased here in 2006.
we got your request,
Thank you.
okay?
Yep.
And we're not saying it looks good. Okay, the next thing on, thank you for bringing that forward. I think that's the first time we had a group come to one of our meetings and present something. So, thank you. Because that's the process, and bringing it to, and it's okay, maybe didn't come to the exact correct place, but they come to a place that I will own this till it gets to the correct place. Okay? The next thing is the approval of the minutes. I went through the minutes, made a few modifications. They're always on the, a lot of times we don't know the detailed package we get. But I'd like a recommendation or not a recommendation.
I move.
You move, yeah, I want to move you.
You got
Second?
that?
Second.
So we had, the primary was, that's what happened when you get a 3:30.
It gets worse.
It gets worse. Pete made a recommendation and seconded it by Lynn. Can we have a vote of the group? It's
Aye.
5-0. Okay. We approved the minutes. Bring up the financial report, just the unaudited, that one, yeah, not that one, I'm sorry, the other one. I just wanted to tell you how we ended last year. The unaudited. Yeah, right there. This is basically showing what is, my eyesight's bad, is that
Can't see that.
$146,000 at the end of last year. We have $146,000 we did not spend. Okay, 40, do you see the stormwater systems? It was 45,000 we did spend. And that's basically because that project was delayed to this year because the Gateway had to complete their storm drain project first before we started ours. So 45,000 of that extra money we're going to spend this year. We'll have to do a transfer, but, and then the other thing is the wetlands was about 45,000 in, without Slicker did, with the renegotiation, going to formal bid, we reduced, last year, we reduced our cost by half. And the budget never totally reflected that. So 90,000 of that 146 come from those two line items. And then some of the stuff is just contracts that work we've done for last year didn't get completed and it goes into this year. And it takes a while before the unaudited becomes audited. And then we'll know exactly what the financials look like. But the good thing is we didn't overspend, right? And so we're in a very positive position going into the new year. Okay, let's go back. And the next thing, I wanted to.
Are you done with the financials?
Yeah. I
Okay.
don't need to see that. Yeah.
So this is Daniel Potter, Gateway Services Public Works Director, for those that don't know me. As we move forward, I've started to try to develop some processes and controls. So right here where the financials are, at every one of the subcommittee meetings or committee meetings, we're basically going to do some agenda management moving forward. And I've created kind of a tracking system for each one of the subcommittees. So this is going to be an item that I'm going to work with your chair or whoever he designates to be able to track all the items as we go. I've made it where everything has got drop downs with names of everybody that's in it, what type of business it is, whether it's new, recurring, something that was tabled, because a lot of times things get discussed about, not actually made a decision on, and it gets tabled and we need to be able to track it. This will help me in the future develop the budget for this committee, because I can look and see about projects that are still outstanding that we were trying to work towards that maybe we didn't have budgeted in the fiscal year and that we need to get budgeted into the next fiscal year. So there'll be more of this. It's very much in the building phases. I framed it out. As you can see, at least there's a tracking mechanism in place now for agenda management, whether it be for a project or for administrative items. There's some things in here that I'm going to start building out with Doug.
Yeah, and we'll probably not assign it to a board member, but Bob Gephardt is a member of the Ponds group, not the board, but he does a detail of every line item that we spend and tracks that. So he'd be a logical person.
So my mind thinks in dollar signs, and each action that we do or don't do has a dollar sign associated with it, whether it be manpower or if it be contracting or if it be an actual project happening out here with a contractor. So I would like to start capturing where we are, where it's at in approval processes, so that this can track up through PPAC to the board for approval, and that we streamline these items so that they don't take 4 months to get approval on things. I'm trying to close up the delta and the variance and how long it takes for us to get things approved. Okay. So that.
Are you in the
For
pond?
pond?
This is the ponds group.
Yeah, but under the gateway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Gateway. Okay.
It's just for preserve.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pelican Reserve.
I read it wrong.
Well, go get yourself a cup of, you can still get a free cup of coffee on Pelican Preserve.
I thought it was gateway.
Did you get that from her?
I've got one more item.
She can still sign in. Yeah.
One more item that goes with that. And in one of our past meetings, we've now assigned each of you as committee members an actual formal email address. And that's honestly for more of continuity for when somebody leaves the board, somebody new comes to the committee, we can have that just continuity of an email box. Keep in mind, it is public record. I'm currently working with Georgia, our administrator, to set up calendar invites inside of that Outlook box, so that you'll be able to see when the next meeting is. And there will also be links to that Excel tracker in there as well, so that people can look at the progress that we're working on and give any feedback for agenda items and things along those lines. So all of the committee members will have access to that. But if you didn't know which one you were actually assigned to, It's on our homepage. If you go to government, committees and subcommittees, it'll show you all of every chair, every vice chair, every member of every one of the subcommittees and what their new email address is across the board. So now that I'm off my soapbox, I'll pass it back over to Doug. Yes, sir.
I saw that was out there, so, but how do you access the email?
Laura said she was going to give training to us
Yeah.
once we get them set up.
Well, they're out there on the website. People could be emailing to them right now.
Really?
Yeah. I saw that yesterday. It's like, I don't know how to get into mine.
Well, at least I got less to do's because
I'll take that as a do out to get with Laura to be able to provide training on how to access.
Thank you.
Apologies that I thought she had already given that information. So
no.
I will work with her in order to get that sorted out.
Okay, the next thing on the agenda is our board, the 7-member board. We were 2-year assignments for each of us. And instead of, I think it's November, in November, it's in the attachment where it goes down. It's in there somewhere. I put it in there, the date. But in November, we would all 7 have to be
Here we go.
reelected.
Doug, it's up there.
So what I did was, stagger it. So right now, Mike and I, because of my position, I put us first, and the date was next month. We have 2 applicants. Mike reapplied, I reapplied. Right now, we have 2 seats and 2 applicants. So, maybe we could have a recommendation as we go forward that we accept the 2 applicants because we have 2 and we have 2 seats. And I will go forward to PPAC this afternoon to request them to approve, to reapprove, I guess you would say, the 2 of us. Can I have a recommendation on this?
Recommend that we
Okay.
maintain the 2 people who were, terms are up and have volunteered to continue on.
I second.
Okay. Again, we have, do you have who recommended and someone else come in? Yes,
This is Peggy Ball. Have we had anybody else apply to the committee at all?
no. I approached some people if they wanted to do it, and I got no taker. We would have,
Did you offer chocolate?
huh?
They
No.
probably ran.
A gift certificate. Yes. Okay,
I didn't get that offer.
huh?
I didn't get that. offer.
Well, I did give you the option.
Yeah, I know.
If you didn't want to do it,
So there's a motion on the table.
and it was second, can we,
I second.
Jim Latham
Pete, I did.
and did we have a vote for approval?
will approve.
Okay. That just went from 5-0 to 6-0 because Lou just showed up. So we had one more voting member. Okay, we're going to go with aerator. Unless you want to talk, I will do a summary and you can interrupt me and say you're wrong, Doug. Ed did a lot of work. We're looking at every meter that we were from FPL that we were being charged for, and he found some discrepancies. Okay. And he actually went to Prado and Pistoia for one of them, where Prado and Pistoia for 4 years, he found, and for 4 years have been paying for our aerator. Because when it went from Lennar and turned over to Pistoia and Prado, that meter went to them. And they've been paying about approximately $1,500 a year for that meter, for the aerators. He found it, we corrected it where we transferred it, it's being transferred to our budget. But then Prado and Pistoia, who did not know for 4 years they were paying for it, then requested reimbursement. They formally requested reimbursement. Gateway staff recommended reimbursing them for the 4 years. It's with the exact number, you could do the math. It's less than $6,000 for 4 years worth of power. The recommendation was from staff was to reimburse them. We could debate, should we do 4 years or not? But the recommendation was to reimburse them for all 4 years.
We know that it was 4 years that they've been paying.
Yeah, it was around 130, do we know it was exactly $113 and some change a month? No, because I know some of those were turned off for a while because of the electrical fires we had and stuff like that, but the work it would take to go back and do that,
Would be more than.
that'd be more than, yeah, I'm not going to have anyone do that amount of work for $113. So I'd like a recommendation that we reimburse them for their 4 years of billing that should have been billed to us.
I'll make the motion to credit back Praga Pistoia for.
Less than
what they-
6,000,
for
yeah.
What they paid, which they shouldn't have been billed for, at the turnover.
Right. And Pete, you can't second it because you've done too many seconds.
I'll second it.
Yeah. Can I have a vote on that of the board?
Aye.
You didn't, you don't.
Is that on record that I'm restricted now?
No, you were just restricted for seconds. You could still vote. Dude, which way do you vote?
Plus,
Okay. So we have, again, 6-0. There's two smaller ones I will bring up. That one is the fact that at Monticello, there was a, what do you call it, cul-de-sac, where they have their Christmas lights and stuff like that, is piggybacked on our aerator bill.
monument.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's a nit. What it's a nit from the standpoint of the aerator bill is like 99%, and it's only during the Christmas season. So Ed's go on.
There's actually two of them. I think
I was going to do the second one. I would know.
but I think they'll come next month.
Okay.
They'll be on next month, but one of them was Monticello, where it was put down as a pump and it's been paying it, so there's a minimum bill of $30 every month, but all it serves is the cul-de-sac lights. And so the recommendation is to turn that one off or let Monticello take it up. The other one is one of the other
Trias.
where it's tied into the aerator. And so the Christmas lighting, there's a circuit that goes into the cul-de-sac, and the Christmas lighting there is really non-consequential, and that it's kind of like holiday lighting at the front gate. There's a little additional lighting. So I think my recommendation was just to leave that one alone, because the meter is serving gateway assets, and the incidental is.
Yeah, and
But
you
those
could,
will come next month.
Yeah. I would just say that even though they're both cul-de-sacs, they're totally different with the metrics of the financial situation. In one case, we're really not paying anything more because it's piggybacked on the aerator. In the other case, we're paying $36 a month for, and we have nothing that we have power-wise on it. So even though they're both cul-de-sacs, I just wanted you to understand that the recommendation is different between the two because of the financials. So you were saying that Chelsea said to wait till next month
I think
to,
it will be on next month's agenda.
okay, that's fine.
I think it's Daniel Potter. She's working to find out what the actual numbers are
Okay.
and getting proof of payment. So
Okay.
yes, we can see bills, but actually showing the proof of payment has been the tooth pull when it comes to that right
4
now.
years worth of,
Yeah.
worth of bills.
So the reason why 4 years is the number we're going with, that's the statute of limitations of how far back they can go back. So 4 years is the max. Just for
Reimbursement.
reimbursement.
But, and we should be able to know when it started, because when it was the transfer to the HOA, the transfer from Lennar, when they transferred the community to, from Lennar over to them, that's when it started. So Ed is, if you ever have a problem with the power bill or anything, he's the man.
We're still trying to figure them all out.
No, but I mean, he's down to the detail. which is how they found the problem. And I think in a prior life, you worked for Kansas City Power and Light, so he's got expertise. And now, are you the interface to the security group?
Yes.
So he's also on the PPAC board, and he's the interface to the security group, which he's did a lot to resolve the problems of lighting down Pelican Preserve Boulevard that were out for months. He got that resolved. He won't take credit, but he did a great job.
Mhm.
And until they go out again, then now everyone knows, go ahead. Okay,
I have a question on what we were just discussing
Yes.
with the outlet lighting. If next Christmas and they go to plug it in and it's not working.
Yeah.
Do we bear any
Um,
responsibility to fix
his,
something?
Ed's recommendation is to go back to Monticello to know that, to tell them we're turning that outlet off before we actually turn it off.
Right, so they have the
Yes.
opportunity to take over that
They
account.
can either take it over, but they have to realize if you take it over, it's $36 a month. You can't turn it on and turn it off for Christmas season.
Right.
So you're going to pay for 12 months
Right.
at a minimum amount is $36.
Now, the other one that
Yes.
is piggybacked off of the aerator,
Correct.
if they next year go to plug it in and there's no power,
We are
are we
turning,
responsible to fix that outlet?
no, we are not going to turn that one.
But that's gonna stay
The
on.
recommendation is to keep that on and
Right.
that the ponds group will continue to pay that incremental cost.
Right.
Will be what the recommendation is.
Yep.
That we will pay the incremental cost for the Christmas lights for the Christmas season.
Now, my question is where they plug in their Christmas lights.
Right.
If that outlet is not working next Christmas, who pays to fix it?
Well, I mean, we,
This is Ed Hedges. That's why I put these on, submitted them for the agenda so that you guys could have this discussion. There's another cul-de-sac, I think it's in Toscana or
Right, okay.
that they have their own meter. And we were trying to figure out who it was, and Florida Power Light said it's an inactive account. But then it gets turned on for Christmas. So I think they have some sort of seasonal.
Yeah, and I am in Toscana, because I'm board here. We do have a separate meter that was put in originally back in 2004 on the island. It's tied into one of the homes, but it's metered separately.
Right.
So every year, the only thing we use to post Christmas lights and then
Right.
our flagpole that was lit as well. So what we've done now is about 2 years ago, we got a solar light for the flagpole, but we now shut it off every year. In mid-January, we turn it back on in November. And I think there's a $40 deposit every year. The account is actually closed, so we have to reopen a new one. It's kind of a pain in the neck. It saved us like $300 or $400 a year to just mention. It's about $36 minimum.
I was going to say, but your subdivision has the best holidays display of any subdivision. I don't know how you twist arms so that everyone does it.
Isn't it amazing? Yeah. I think they just kind of feel bad. They feel guilty.
They're the only home that doesn't have lights on.
So I basically submitted those so that you guys were aware of these situations out there and could establish some sort of policy. So Monticello, the one in Monticello where it only serves the cul-de-sac, they could do the same thing that Toscana does. And turn it on and turn it off, so they're only paying that bill for 2 or 3 months. The one that's off of the aerator, that's something that you guys will have to decide, but the circuit from the breaker out to the cul-de-sac, if something happens there, whose responsibility is that? Is that,
Would that
The
impact
agent.
the irrigators though?
pardon me?
That would impact our irrigators?
No.
No.
There's a breaker service panel with a breaker to the aerator and a breaker to the cul-de-sac. So if something happens on the line to the cul-de-sac, then, whose responsibility is it to fix that? Will that be the HOAs or is that the ponds group?
Right.
That's something for you guys to discuss and decide and kind of have a formal,
But that would be on
Understand
on the next meeting agenda.
yeah, that's on the next
Okay.
meeting agenda.
Right, and the reason is because they're trying to get 4 years, what Daniel said, 4 years worth of history.
And
I'd be surprised. if they did.
nothing is consistent around this
Oh, yeah.
community, so there's all these one-offs, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Ed, and the community thanks you. Yeah. I think you work in maybe 3 or 4 different ones, subgroups, and then
There's
she's
some
also on PPAC. So what-
Landscape has agenda
Yeah.
items too, so.
Oh, yeah, let's go back.
That's your next item.
This, the bid process,
On 36 erosion bid process.
right? And in fact, yes,
There's still no discussion on the fountains, right? Shutting the fountains down?
we will continue to run the 3 fountains. That's what we decided. We still have the middle fountain. The one here is the lighting has been corrected. And the next one down, there is a purchase order in the vendor's hand. He's waiting for the lights. Its lights did not work. But right now, we're still running the
Keep
fountain.
maintaining and paying for it.
Well, we already have a maintenance contract in place that we released to Superior Water Management and for the maintenance of the 3 fountains. We fixed the 1 fountain, repositioned it, and fixed the lighting on it. By the way, there's a lot of people that, we don't always get positive impact or feedback. A lot of people have given a lot of positive feedback for the lighting fixing the lighting on that one. And the next one down will get the same.
The cost is about 50 to 60,000 a year, right?
No, we don't know yet because they've now been cleaned. We were waiting to see what the new, how much electricity bills were. And was going to come back and present that. Once we get them cleaned, we don't know if it's as much as that.
Plus he's replacing them with, I know one wasn't LED yet, so he was.
Well, the
part of that
2
was-
had to be replaced because we didn't do normal maintenance. We did ad hoc maintenance. A different vendor came in each time to do maintenance.
Yeah.
And he hooked it up wrong. They put 220 and 110 and blew out the 2 lights on the 2 fountains. That's why the lights were done.
And they were running. 24/7.
Huh?
And the timers are running.
Yeah, and then
24/7.
the timers are not 20. So the 2 things, going back to your point, is all of them have been cleaned. And the fact that now we have the timers on that they don't run 24/7. So we're waiting to see what the new power consumption is.
Do we know what the time frames are that it runs? Just curiosity.
I think we don't start until 8 o'clock in the morning. I think it's 8 to 8, 12 hours. And the 8 o'clock is because that's when the broken center opens. I figured that was a good start.
And as a refresher, this committee decided to come back and table this until 6 months out and then to make an assessment to do another 6 months, just to look at the data. And then when it came to an actual decision point, make a decision on it.
Right, that we have real data.
Correct.
I have to say Superior's been doing a very good job from my perspective on doing it. They've been responsive, explaining what they find, explaining what they have to do, putting in POs to correct things that they felt was wrong. And, I think that's a welcome change. Just the level of communication, it's been really well.
This is Ed Hedges again. I don't know if you guys are aware, but the meter that serves the 2 ponds also serves the street lights and irrigation in the cities. And the other
One,
meter actually serves the fountain and the trail lights around the boardwalk. The trail that goes around the boardwalk. There's some of those.
The paved trail, there's some
Right.
lights highlighting the
So,
rocks and that.
it's hard to know exactly how much is for which.
For which, and you can't just shut the meters off because it removes all those others. So you might reduce the electric bill, but you may not be able.
And you might not reduce it as much as you thought you would. Okay. We have 4 more things on the agenda. You got up there the completion of the drainage. I'm excited about this one. I've been working on this project for 8 years from when we first started in Tiberio. We just completed Prado and Pistoia last week. The last drain is done. To me, it's exciting. I don't think anyone else thinks it's exciting as I do. The only thing I'm trying to do is there's some grass. A couple of homes had some grass between the homes. When we put it in, it did not recover from that. I'll go back with the vendor and we'll put there's 2 homes. We'll replace the grass, that thing. But that still has to be done. But besides that, we are done. And then we'll come back. I think we recommended, I'm trying to think, not last meeting, one before, Ravenna. They're going back and doing Ravenna as a one-off. Now we got this done. What we recommended, we would do that for Ravenna, but I'm going to bring it back forward because I don't have a proposal or cost or anything like that. We just said it makes sense to allow them to do the drainage at Ravenna, since that's the only HOA we did not do. And that's because they didn't want to do it back then. So just so you know. Any questions about that?
All right. This was Pelican.
Okay. Which one do you want? Do you want to do the bid process or you want? I think we know Jim started the project with the bank erosion. Then we used Tetra Tech to validate the prioritization of the ponds. We had Tetra Tech to come back on the second tax authorization for the bid specs to release a formal bid. We have now released the form. I don't know the exact date of when we released the bid, but
It was last week.
Last week, but the bidders conference was Monday of this week. And Al Slicker represented our group. He's a member of the ponds group. He's not on our board, but he represented us at that meeting. And would you have four?
Correct.
Four potential bidders that showed up at the meeting. And we'll see where that goes from there. I mean, that was just a questions where they had some questions to Gateway after they reviewed the bid. Was it 4 or 5 questions, something like that?
Yeah, I have 4 questions. Primarily focusing around just specifications of what type of mesh, how thick, and then dredging and materials for fill. So pretty simple and easy to adjust the scope and respond to their answers. So I'll continue to work with Doug on giving them those specifications. But it looked like there was an appetite there. So.
Do you have a timeline when they should have a vendor approved or?
Yeah.
I think
It's basically when work will start. I know.
Well, when we'll get back proposals and make a decision off of that, we'll extend that timeline, but I would imagine we'll get everything back this month from those proposals. Then we'll do the review criteria of it and a selection, or at least propose a primary contractor to roll with, and then bring it back in front of you your next meeting for approvals, and then take it through the approval pipeline to go forward with it.
If you click on that, we got enough time. You can click on that. I'll just put the dates up there. The pre-bid meeting was February 5th. Question due date and so on. If you go down here, bid opening the 23rd of February. And then the recommend of the award was by the 29th, the end of the month. And then it would be presented to PPAC and CDD for approval. That's the timeline for the bid process.
What I'm seeing as a trend is about 30 days after recommendation of award, bringing it back to, once it comes back to you, depending on when the dates fall for your next meeting, it'll probably take about another 30 days to get it through the final process. Then I'll schedule the actual worker to come out, depending on each project's a little bit different, whether I need a detailed schedule timeline or MOT or whatever else goes behind it, then we'll set a date.
And Jim, it's going to depend upon our weather, because we do not want to pump the pond down. You know, it's dry season, but it's wet. So the ponds are hot. The ponds are hot. And the ponds have to be low, to do the restoration. And we don't want to pump it out. That adds an additional expense to pump the water level in that pond down. You have to plug up the things. And there's permits to do that, the de-water. So our plan would be, if the pond's too high, we will wait till the level goes down.
Can't wait too long.
I know then I'll be wet, but last wet season was dry, so, so I don't know what to say.
So we're hoping to have this done sometime this spring, summer.
Yes.
Correct.
Timeframe.
In dry season.
Weather dependent,
Weather-
obviously, but
Yeah.
once I have a contract generated from this, then I'll have it on standby. I'll work with that contractor to make sure that we set a date that we're able to do. And again, weather dependent, whether we can start during that timeline, but I will stand on top of them until I can get it done. That's my job in life.
His military
Because
background is
this
good.
The first one of a number of
Right.
larger jobs.
Yep.
So, we just.
Yeah, and
So we're seeing it across Gateway, because I'm doing the exact same thing on the Gateway side, and we're doing 2 to 4 ponds at any given moment. And we're doing them year to year. We're trying to go back out. And we started off with 8 ponds, and that was in like 22, and I'm still trying to finish up 2 of those ponds. So it's just getting them on contract, and then as the weather, we're flexible with the start and the notice to proceed on each lake.
and we don't know exactly how the bid pricing is gonna come back.
Yep.
And then we gotta look at our budget going forward.
Right.
We could take a hit this year because, we just showed we had 140 that's going in Pelican, our ponds, budget that's set aside. I mean, the reserves that's set aside for reserves that we could use to help offset additional. But going forward, like you're talking about, going forward for the future years, we've got to have a budget that matches what our numbers come back on the bid process.
So now, are we waiting for, say, the next pond, next year? Is this? the
One a
time-
year, how are we doing?
Well, like I said, until we get bids back and know the pricing, we know how many we can do per year. And once we have the pricing, we could start doing the planning for the second and third, depends on that. Okay?
Do we have a priority list of the ponds?
We do.
And that came from with Jim's report and then validated by Tetra Tech in a task authorization.
And did they agree exactly with his price?
They're pretty much the same. He didn't, Jim didn't have an exact, pond 1, pond 2.
They spent a lot more time than I did.
Yeah, and he just said, here's the ponds that are the worst. Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, they took a dartboard. I don't know. But here's the ponds that needed the most work. And then they prioritized them. They ended up prioritizing them, but those were still the ones that he said needed the most work. Thank you for coming.
Thank
So
you.
where is pond 36?
Asked me that today and I didn't know.
That's the one between Solero and Matarita, for Cypress Road.
Okay.
It's a long, narrow one.
Yep.
It's pretty much,
So-
the bids.
But it's big, it's very,
Yeah,
it's a long, it's a really
The
long.
bid
so that's
specs-
a big-
The bid specs come back a little more than we were anticipating from the number of linear feet, by about 800 linear feet more. And the thing is, there was like 350 linear feet. And on each side of it, you were going to restore the bank. The bid spec said to restore that 300 feet that 300 so feet in between, since you were doing it on each side. So the bids, I think, will come, even if it's the same price per linear foot, will come back more because we almost added 1,000 linear feet.
But there's some economies of scale of doing the whole thing at one time.
We don't know yet, but I agree there should be. Okay. Pond littoral replacement. All I say here is, in the New Pelican, quite a few of the ponds, littorals are sparse. Whether they were oversprayed by a contractor, whatever, they need to be replaced. And Jim has started a couple ponds where he's got some, we've released some POs, but we need a master littoral plan of which ones are the worst. And that was really part of your other plan that you'd done earlier, but we need to put it together as a littoral planting plan by pond and put the budget, we have a budget for it. And I think it's, my gut feel was 25K without it in front of me per year for littoral, that will use that to do some of the planting. But we're coordinating that, so we're not going to put littorals on the pond. And next year, we're going to do bank restoration and rip them all up.
Mhm.
So we're making sure that the two plans are coordinated, that the plantings we do are on ponds that not going to be restored quickly.
It's 25,
What?
25,000 this year.
Yes. But Jim, what was the two we just did, the small? I think the one was 800, the one was 500. It was 1,300.
Really a
for two.
minimal
Yeah,
cost.
yeah.
So, I look, most of the ones that needed work also
Prioritization.
need bank
Yeah.
restoration. So we're not doing anything until post restoration, then we can address that. A couple that did not have work going, I did have, Superior go out and, I'm sorry, Solitude go out for ponds 41 and 51. They said 51 appears the substrate is too rocky to support planting. That's the one right by the Prado Pistoia Circle on the left-hand side approaching that intersection. And it is a very rocky looking bank. So I will go out there and look again. I'll talk to them, see if there's any other alternatives, any other plantings that may serve the same purpose. But, one of the feelings is that if it's that rock might not be prone for erosion in the first place. But I want to make sure that that is the case. Or just for aesthetic purposes, or for the quality of the water and the health of the pond itself, that we see if we can get some plantings along, because I know some people will want them, some people won't. The other pond was pond 40, and I will take a look. 40 is up in the back of Matarita by Migliera. And they provided some ideas. They said that they found that there was a bit of growth. Some of the, I believe, penis that they had planted a few years back were there. So I'm going to take another look. And it may just be a matter of putting in some spike brush in between, which would be a nice fast.
When Mark Embersman was in our group, they did some plantings and they were small. I mean, the thing is, it's not tomorrow. The bank's full. They take a while to grow and establish themselves. But I was surprised how many of them survived.
That was
Over the
5 or 6
years. I was
ago,
really
and
surprised.
now it looks good.
Yeah.
At the time, we thought that they all died.
Yeah.
Just like some of the ones that I did last year, it looks horrible, but they say when you plant something, it goes into shock, it goes dormant.
Yeah.
Now we have winter, it goes dormant again. They felt that after a year, you will start seeing noticeable growth and it spreading. So I'll be anxious to see that, because then it makes me feel better moving forward that what we're doing, and as I've told some people, you don't want something that's going to look good in a year, because if it grows that fast, in 5 years, you're going to have a monster that you have to now pay to maintain, trim back, because it's going to, it's just going to be out of hand. So.
Doug, can I ask just a clarifying question? With the bidding process that we're doing for the erosion, that has a littoral aspect to it as well, correct?
But it's bid separate. You don't have to bid the whole thing. Okay? It's separated. But the thing is, so everyone else knows, the littorals protect the bank from erosion. We're not necessarily doing it for it looks good. The main reason we're doing it is because it protects erosion, and erosion is not cheap to repair. So we have to, without the littorals on the bank, they will erode, and then we'll have to do more bank erosion work, which is very expensive, as opposed to planting littorals is cheap compared to bank erosion. So that's why we're doing it.
Chick Hirschberger was saying on 13, 14, 15, 16, he's asked for some electoral adjustments. I guess he's trying to go through what do you call it, whatever. He has not gotten a response.
I haven't either.
If you can send it to me, I'll see what I could, if I can look at it, see what his ask is.
Okay, so in
The
this,
other two that we did have recent POs, let's say 28 and 38. 28 is in Diamante, 38 is in Viadana. They do have everything approved back to Superior, and once the weather gets into more of the wet season, they will proceed with planting. It's a mix of spike brush, iris pana, arrowhead, to bring a little bit of colorful.
And is one of them 800 and one of them 500? I think
Yes.
in my, at
Yeah,
the
just
top of
the
my head.
different sizes
Right.
of the areas.
Okay. The last thing on the agenda that we're going to get, we need approval for is the asphalt repair on the pathway over there across from Broca. It's about 84 feet of asphalt repair. We had 4 vendors bid on that. Daniel helped us get 4 bids.
Yep.
We had 4 bids. In fact, I had a piece of paper here with the numbers on it.
I have it. It's right here.
Okay.
So up on the board, you'll be able to see where the numbers came in, and that's just for the pathway. That's just on the other side of the bridge on the pond here, going into the pathway, stopping right at the entryway into the wood line. Beyond that, we didn't see a need yet to repair anything beyond that because it was actually a newer asphalt pathway. So we only did the 84 feet, as Doug said, from the base of the bridge to the entry of the wood line there.
And that was a break point in the asphalt.
Correct, because somebody,
Expansion joint.
it was an expansion joint from where the last time somebody actually repaired the other side and never did this section. That's probably why it's in such disarray. But lowest bidder came in at $9,175, and that would be Copeland. So the recommendation would be to go forward with them from the staff's perspective. We've worked with them in the past. They do a very decent job and they're very timely. And then to recommend this forward to PPAC for approval as well.
This is on that specific location, right?
Yes,
Correct.
that's it.
Not all with all.
No,
No.
it's not all the path. It's
No,
just
no.
that 84. And by the way, Copeland compared to Scott was 28% less. Atlantic Southern was 40% less, Copeland was, and Crewfield was 144% less. So Copeland came in. I will say, just from looking at the bids and going through the detail, Atlantic Southern did a good job.
Yep.
And a very extensive job of the bid. It is 40-some% more, but they did a good job of the bid. They had a lot of pictures. They had a lot more detail. And, you know, I should say, you know, but 44% is 44%.
It's
and-
asphalt. I mean, how can it be that much different?
Well, I'm just saying it is asphalt and it's just, and Copeland's smaller and we have a working relationship with them, we being Pelican Preserve, and we do not have a working relationship with the other 3 today, unless
Well,
Gateway does. Yes.
Gateway does, Atlantic Southern,
Yeah.
Scott Commercial, we've used them. The new one to the mix is actually a sub that we've used before. So we've used Ajax Paving. I'm sure they're right
Yeah.
here in the neighborhood. Crullified is typically a sub to them. So Ajax is now trying to reorganize and go after larger projects, larger scale projects. And they have branched out and allowed us to go straight to the sub that would do our smaller projects
So
such as
you're
this.
saying 84 feet is not a large project?
No, not in their mind. The biggest issue there to keep in mind is that on one side, you've got conservation, the other side, you've got a pond. So there's an environmental portion to this as well. It's not just as simple as let me grind, pull. There's going to be some erosion control. There's going to be a little bit more than just let me
And
come in
getting
and
the
mill and
material-
replace.
And to get the material into the place, yeah, from.
Yeah.
Okay, yes,
Ed Hedges, this is for me personally.
yeah.
Are you doing, you said you're doing the whole stretch from the bridge to the expansion entrance?
Yeah.
Because when out there were some white markings that kind of looked like they were just doing part,
No,
might be part of.
it might have been one of these vendors going out there. If I had to bet, it was Atlantic Southern, because they did pretty detailed proposal. Maybe they went out there and marked
So
parts, but we're doing that whole section.
a part of me leaned forward a little bit into this because I was curious, and I did ask for just the 84-foot section
Yeah.
and then the whole section because I wanted to know what it would do to be able to do the whole thing. that part's not incorporated in this. That was just a Daniel Potter wanted to know kind of thing. Curiosity, because the way that that ground sits when you go out there, so wet to the either side, once you get into the wood line, it erodes the base of that pathway. And with shifting and driving and walking and just normal wear and tear, there are parts that are starting to kind of deteriorate. It's not at a point that I need to fix it right now. In a couple years, it'll be there. So I kind of wanted to have an idea.
But the
I was concerned when I went up there and saw the white mark.
No, we're not-
About half of that area.
No, we're not patching. We're grinding it all
The
out.
rest of it's pretty rough.
Yeah, we're grinding it all out and replacing the entire section.
Yeah.
Jennifer this morning said they're putting some sort of a mat on there.
No, he's already put the mat in. Actually, I've got a question on
Parking.
it. Can we get some parking signs? Because I don't think people know that you've
Okay.
got that parking.
I was surprised the other day. I actually seen 3 carts parking.
Oh, good,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. I
Yeah.
was right behind my office and I don't see
Yeah.
anybody using it, so if we put some signs.
Yep.
people know all
I,
the parking.
we will do that.
Thank you.
Small unobtrusive signs.
Yes.
The whole purpose was that.
No, I think we
could.
could, maybe we can
Matt.
power it off the lights of the fountain.
So keep-
So we need a motion. Yeah,
It is not. It will be on your future. I didn't want to stack them up. So it's on your very next meeting. It's in my agenda management for your, let's see, hold on, I'll even show you because I've got it up. So the staff does our own agenda management as well. And I've got the pathway right here. So tentatively it'd be 14 March for PPAC. Yeah, and then the 21st for the Board of Supervisors right after. So it'll be a pretty quick turnaround.
and usually for something less than 10K from Board of Supervisors, and it's in the budget because it's part of the conservation. And there is an additional funding that is needed.
Hey Doug,
Yeah,
this is Bob. For the $10,000 or under 10, we don't need to go to the board, do we?
if it's in the current budget and you request, my understanding with the current process, we would not need to do that, correct?
That's what I mean. We could take some time off of this and get it done sooner rather than later.
But whether or not they could even get started, I don't know the answer, Bob.
Well, that's a different, I'm just talking the approval process.
Yeah. Could I have a motion as to what do we take the staff recommendation of going with Copeland? Could I have a motion to accept that recommendation?
Yes, I move that we accept the Copeland Southern Enterprise bid for asphalt.
Okay. Can we vote on that? 6-0.
Wonderful.
But I know, we just completed the last one. No, thank you for coming in.
What about is pay Pascarelli with the IF system to upload our information into their trouble ticket solution? And my question to you is, are you guys of the opinion that that is something that will benefit us? Or is that something that's only going to benefit the, I mean, they're asking Pelican to upload into their database. And I just want to-
And what is that? What is
It's
the,
like 15,000.
no, what is not the cost? What is the detail that they're uploading?
They want to upload everything that is in our GIS down to the side and everything into the ticketing system. Is that correct?
So our asset management system, not our ticketing system, but it's the asset management system across the board.
I couldn't hear any of that, if that could be repeated.
Okay, so my question,
Here, come, or over here, I guess.
yeah, my question is, what is the thought on having us as Pelican Preserve pay $15,000 to upload our data into the ticketing, the cartograph ticketing? I call it ticketing. What do you call it?
Asset management system. Yeah.
Asset management system, and they're asking for us to pay to upload it into their system. And my thought is, this benefits you guys, not us, so why would we pay for it? Okay. All right, anyway, we'll take that as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
Make a motion to adjourn.
okay, thank you. And the next meeting is April 11th April 11th.
Hey Doug, before you hang up, can Daniel talk?
Wait, let me
Yeah.
call you back, Bob, because we're getting.
Well, this is for the group. This is for the group.
Well,
The
they're-
power
they're
washer is
left the
now
room.
available, right?
Yeah, they left the room.
Oh, I didn't even hear you adjourned. Okay.
All right, Bob, we're logging off. Thank you for joining.
I'll call
All
you,
right.
Bob.
All right.